segment is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus, kick off our holidays by supporting the Make-A-Wish Jingle Rock Virtual Run. Visit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Guam and CNMI Facebook page for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Tonight on Guam's primetime news, a fatal crash over the weekend down south claims the life of a 30-year-old man. Plus, 4 females detained at the Department of Corrections women's facility tested positive for COVID-19. And one island resident shares his experience as a COVID survivor. Hafa everybody, and good evening. I'm Jason Salas, and these are tonight's top stories. Well, Guam's finest Highway Patrol Division is investigating a fatal crash that occurred down south in Santa Rita on Sunday. A 30-year-old man passed away as a result of the incident as he was driving a black Nissan Frontier along Route 5 by AC Circle when he lost control of the vehicle, running into a power pole. He was pronounced dead at GMH in Tamuning. There is no word yet on the cause of the crash. In other island news headlines, it seems like it was yesterday when residents from all over the island flocked to free community testing sites for COVID-19, waiting in line for hours to get swabbed to know whether or not they were in the clear. But with positive cases being reported on a daily basis, has COVID-19 become something that no longer poses a major issue to us? Tyler Matanani reports on public health's low turnout rates for last week's free community mass testing.
Hundreds of rapid test kits available, pain-free and promising results within minutes. It wasn't enough to get the people to come out in droves for last week's free community testing. Public health spokesperson Janella Carrera.
We were prepared to offer testing up to 200 tests at each location Monday through Friday, and then up to 300 on Saturday. And, we just didn't see that turnout at any of our locations.
Carrera says the department is now exploring other strategies and making testing more available and convenient. Time of availability, frequency of testing, and location are all factors being examined.
We're eyeing possibly maybe a shopping center, maybe a building, maybe something more centralized. So those are some things we have discussed.
Carrera says that there could be a number of factors that contributed to the low turnout.
It could be location, it could be, just the fact that it's the holidays and, people are busy shopping.
With many elements to consider, one that seemed to be a commonality amongst the community is fear.
Some of the things that we've also heard were that people were just scared to get tested and possibly turn out positive and not wanting to, isolate or quarantine during the holiday season.
As we reported, Public Health recently received 30,000 BinaxNOW rapid test cards. Aside from mass community testing, the agency is also exploring options to offer the antigen testing to GovGuam agencies as well as the private sector. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
All right, Tyler, thanks so much for that report. Elsewhere, 4 females at the Department of Corrections women's facility have contracted coronavirus. According to DOC Major Anton Uggan, the agency spokesman, one detainee was a new admission and the other 3 were already confined. The retesting of the post-8 unit occurred on Friday as a result of an officer assigned to the post testing positive. Uggan was not able to confirm if the new admission potentially brought COVID into the prison, but he does say it's highly possible. For the time being, DOC has started testing inmates and detainees prior to entering the facility.
The director, in working with GPD and the other law enforcement agencies, every new arrestee now will be tested prior to entering DOC. They may not be tested at DOC, but during normal work hours, it'll be done at GMH. So every time someone is picked up or even going to be brought in, the marshals, a warrant or anything like that, they would have to be taken to GMH to get tested. And then after hours, it'll be done at the, I think they're calling it the QFAT, or over at Outriggers, that area down there.
Major Uggan says the agency continues to push for testing machines at the jail. However, they are waiting for the certification to be either waived or processed. To date, there have been a total of 171 positive cases at DOC, 155 of which have since been cleared, with a pair released from custody. There are currently 14 positive prisoners, with 2 at GMH. As for DOC staff, 20 positive employees have been confirmed, with 2 officers hospitalized. Additionally, 7 officers are currently in quarantine. Let's stay with that agency now, as after taking a big hit, DOC is moving forward and preparing for any further spikes in COVID cases. As we reported last month, prison was infected with COVID-19, and while trying to contain the virus, DOC is working swiftly to create another isolation or quarantine dome at the compound in Mangilao. Once again, here's Major Anton again.
Last week, we had one of the vendors come in and do a walkthrough, site visit, right, to start working on, developing the work that needs to be done. The renovations for the dome, that project has been awarded to a local vendor. They will be coming in here, I believe, later this week to start doing their walkthrough and preparing to move forward with that project.
The project calls for the replacement of air conditioning systems at Post 29A, electrical and plumbing work, and restroom repairs. Major Ogan says the cost of the project is exceeding $76,000. Let's take you over to the airport now, as Executive Manager John Kanata reports that an employee remains in quarantine after testing positive for coronavirus. Kanata says all staffers for the Guam International Airport Authority identified through contact tracing have been tested, with the results returning negative. Kanata adds that the employees are currently awaiting clearance from Public Health to properly return to work. Well, another 27 people were reported with COVID-19 on Sunday, according to our friends at the Joint Information Center. The new cases were among 610 samples taken Saturday. This brings the total amount of officially reported cases of the virus on Guam to over 7,000, 7,004 to be exact, with 835 actively fighting the virus, with more than 6,000 recoveries. As of yesterday, Guam's CAR score was an even 2. As reported, the governor has indicated that if our community continues to hold the CAR score down, she would be inclined to ease restrictions, possibly around the 15th of this month in time for Christmas. Regionally, the number of confirmed cases in the CNMI has gone up after 3 more people tested positive for coronavirus when they landed at the Saipan International Airport. This brings the CNMI COVID case count to 109 since March. 3 people are now at the designated isolation area for monitoring. Contact tracing is underway, including checking passengers that were on the same flight. Back here at home, thankfully, we are now seeing a downward trend of COVID hospitalizations, and the folks at the Guam Memorial Hospital plan to take advantage of the moment and make some much-needed improvements to their facility in Barrigada Heights. Peter Santos has our next report.
For the first time since the second wave surge in this pandemic, hospitalizations have been steadily declining, and according to Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas, now's the time to get started on some much-needed work at the COVID isolation facility in Barrigada Heights.
I'm meeting with the executives this morning that if we can stand down the sieve so we can get the contractor to work on the HVAC, that will be great if we can get that done this week.
According to Posadas, the fitting of a more suitable HVAC system is crucial moving forward due to the nature of how the coronavirus spreads.
Because it's one whole unit for the ventilation, the air conditioning, one whole unit for the entire facility. And so, with COVID being airborne, transmission from one patient to another or one area to another, especially those who are non-COVID, we don't want to take that chance.
Posada says that splitting the HVAC system amongst the 3 wings of the facility will afford them the capability to return non-COVID skilled nursing patients back to the facility, as well as provide them more space for other patients.
And the other plan is to use the other wing for non-COVID subacute patients, also med-surg. So we can maximize the utilization of that facility.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
We've got another report for you now, as a distinguished member of our community is currently recovering from coronavirus. And Sabrina Salas Matanani shares a story of one man's journey back from the clutches of COVID-19.
It's a miracle.
Vice President of the Chukis Association of Guam, Kas Nakamura, truly believes that. After 38 days in a coma, he was finally discharged from the Guam Memorial Hospital's care on November 17th.
I was through the valley of death, but I came back.
At home now and still recovering, Cass was diagnosed with COVID-19 more than a month ago. Although he says he's not sure how he contracted the virus, he does recall that he attended a meeting to discuss a death in Chuk. After he returned home, he suddenly started feeling ill. Cass says after he took a shower, he was having a hard time breathing and suddenly collapsed.
I came out, and that's when that thing happened to me. And they quickly called the 911 or the ambulance. And that's it. I didn't remember anything from there.
KAS was rushed to the hospital. He woke from his coma on October 31st, but was moved to the different GMH COVID care units and eventually to the COVID isolation facility before finally being released. Since returning home, he's using his voice to encourage others in the FSM community to get tested.
Don't be afraid or scared to know that you are sick. Even though, like I say, each part of our culture, please, I beg of you, get tested, make use of these free opportunities for us, because it will save your life and your family. I'm lucky that I came back.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matanani.
Please stay tuned, friends. Primetime will continue right here.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Off-a-day federal employees and annuitants, the open season is here. Calvo Select Care offers a comprehensive on-island network including GMH and GRMC. Our off-island provider network stretches across the Pacific. Plus, our partnership with United Healthcare provides over 1 million providers throughout the continental United States. Calvo Select Care, healthcare that's always there for you. Federal employees and annuitants, enroll today.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back, friends, to Primetime. Congressman Michael San Nicolas sends in his recommendation for former Guam resident Jennifer Romero to serve as the Assistant Secretary of the Department of the Interior. He made the endorsement to President-elect Joe Biden, with Romero being currently the Chief Counsel and Staff Director for Democratic Senator Tom Udall, who is the Vice Chairperson for the Committee on Indian Affairs. Romero is a graduate of Princeton and earned her law degree from the American University. She attended Cathedral Grade School and graduated high school from St. John's. Well, Guam's congressional delegate is also recommending Michelle Kramer to serve as a U.S. ambassador to the Republic of the Marshall Islands. The delegate says, quote, Kramer's unique standing as a direct Marshallese descendant and U.S. citizen, coupled with her ties and extensive business experience in Guam and the CNMI, afford her powerful insight of the region and its people that will bring new opportunities to the diplomatic mission of the United States, end quote. Kramer attended Notre Dame High School, was an officer with the Bank of Guam for 2 years in the CNMI, and has been an active businesswoman locally since 2008 as managing director of Pacific International. Well, today, President Trump once again made false claims about the election, tweeting that he won big. He also aired his grievances at a rally in Georgia. Here's more.
President Trump said his primary purpose in going to Valdosta, Georgia last night was to campaign for Republicans David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler in 2 crucial runoff elections in January.
Because at stake in this election is control of the U.S. Senate, and that really means control of this country.
But before a raucous crowd, the president spent most of the rally complaining and repeating falsehoods about the presidential election.
You know, we won Georgia, just so you understand. Let me tell you, this election was rigged.
But even Georgia's Republican Governor Brian Kemp and Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan disagree.
Unfortunately, he did not win the state of Georgia.
Duncan is one of many Georgia Republicans who worry that the president's claim that the state's election system is rigged will discourage Mr. Trump's supporters from voting in the January runoffs.
The mountains of misinformation are not helping the process. They're only hurting it. I worry that we're handing off a playbook to the Democrats for January 5th.
At times last night, President Trump seemed to concede that he had lost and appeared to say he will run again in 2024.
Then we are going to win back the White House. We're going to win it back.
Before a crowd that was packed together with few wearing masks, the president barely mentioned the COVID pandemic.
The states and cities should open up. They should open up. We're rounding the corner on the pandemic.
Chip Reed, CBS News, the White House.
Well, if you haven't heard yet, there will be no procession downtown tomorrow. Instead, Our Lady, Santa Maria in Canalan, will make her way to each village to allow for the island's faithful to honor and celebrate our Blessed Mother in a safe and socially distant way. The feast day will start at 6 a.m. sharp with a novena and mass celebrated by His Excellency Archbishop Michael Burns. Our Lady will then start her tour of the parishes at 7:50 in the morning and will return to the cathedral at 4:30 in the afternoon in time for the festal mass, which starts at 6 p.m. Monsignor James Beneventi would like to emphasize that the procession of Our Lady will not be a motorcade, and parishioners are instead asked to line up along their established routes, socially distant of course, for the sake of safety reasons. If you're planning to see the Blessed Mother as she makes her way around the island's various villages, the full itinerary is on KUAM.com. Also check out our Twitter feed at KUM News to see that schedule. Well, it of course is a season to be merry and cheerful, and it's also all the more reason to remind you that before you raise your glass, make sure you have a designated driver. A virtual proclamation signing ceremony was held for the annual Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign today. It's an issue that hits close to home for Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio.
26 years ago was a victim of drunk driving, impaired driving. It's both from alcohol and from methamphetamine. And it was a big, tremendous loss for our family. And sometimes I think it was only yesterday.
GPD will be out in full force during the holiday season with checkpoints to catch drunk or drugged drivers. And it's now time for our weekly Fanatic Zoom Zone segment, where our Dave Delgado catches up with local NFL fans about their love for pigskin and predictions for the season.
Dave Delgado here with this week's Fanatic Zoom Zone. With me, Frank Florig, representing the New York Giants. Tell us when the love for your team first started.
Today, I still think their greatest quarterback ever was Fran Tarkenton. I loved him for a couple of reasons. Number one is I was just introduced to football around that time frame, 67, 68. And, you know, because we're Chamorros, right? We're all short. Fran Tarkenton was short, but the guy had speed. And I think he invented the word scrambling for quarterbacks. And that's what caught my eye. He can also throw.
Any game day traditions?
I would take the day off on game day, and I would either stay at home or I'd go down to a sports bar and watch them. Super Bowl, if it's the Giants playing, I have something at home. My wife joins me, and friends and family do. Super Bowl with the Giants are far and few. Nothing like the 49ers.
Which team do you look forward to facing every season?
I would have to say I take especially real interest in when they play Dallas.
Top two all-time favorite players?
I would have to say Eli Manning, Fran Tarkenton, Phil Simms, Lawrence Taylor. Tiki Barber would have to be up there.
All right, please stay tuned. There is more prime time when we return right after this.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
Time doesn't stop. And neither should you or your business. Introducing Stroll Courier. Now you can have all your packages, documents, and gifts delivered island-wide without leaving the comfort of your home or office. Delivery has never been easier with our pre-booking and express same-day delivery options. Visit strollguam.com/courier and book a delivery today. Stroll Courier. Book, track, deliver.
Enjoy the deliciously saucy McRib. Only for a limited time and only at McDonald's.
The legendary McRib is back. Pair it with fries and a drink for a limited time.
As is customary every Monday here on the show, we take a look at our island weather. So let's check in with our buddy Landon Idlet from the National Weather Service.
Good morning. Not very rainy, not too wet, and just a little bit of wind out there. So it's going to be much of this for the rest of the week. So let me get right into the weather right quick. I'm going to turn my camera around. I'm going to start a little bit off of where I usually go later in my weather discussion. We're looking at the water vapor imagery right here. That's the moisture content in the atmosphere. So if you remember from previous weeks, I've discussed about what the different colors mean. The blue is very moist atmosphere. The yellows and oranges, that's more of the drier atmosphere. So we're looking at the upper level atmosphere. This is the upper level low that's circulating towards our west and moving away from us. Usually those are what causes our isolated thunderstorms or scattered thunderstorms, the lighten that we see across the region. Typically these happen between May through September, October. They've been lingering a little bit longer this year. And when they sync up with a surface level disturbance, like a trade wind surge or a low level trough or circulation, they can come together and generate those widespread showers and thunderstorms. We're not seeing that right now. It's fairly neutral with the showers and thunderstorms down to the south near Yap and Palau. That's where all the heavy convection, the deep convection, and the higher cloud tops are with those thunderstorms. Looking to our east, not that much. We're seeing a little bit of convection pop up over here, and that's going to come into play later in our forecast today. But then a lot of dry air from the east. So let me go to the radar right quick. And this is what we're looking at. And again, remember from last week and the week prior, when we see these signals in the radar beam, that's an indicator of the moderate to fresh trade winds over the water. That's the butterfly effect in the radar. So we're seeing those returns from the sea spray in the lower atmosphere. And that's just an indicator of about 15 knots of winds and greater. These are the showers that we're seeing come in. It's just spotty, isolated showers. They come in, get things wet and move right off, and nothing too exciting. It's not going to be a sustained heavy downpour, certainly no flash flooding potential with these showers. And that's the good news. And I don't really see any potential for that in the week ahead. So that's a stark change from what we've seen in the past. And now let me go back to our satellite. I'm going to show you the infrared picture. This is another image that we have to show what's out there. So we're seeing what's more at the surface now. We have that spotty convection over here. That's associated with a trade wind surge that's going to be billowing in from the east. We're going to see the trade winds gradually increase around midday into the afternoon. It's going to get a little bit windier, a few more gusts out there, but nothing significant. But as that approaches, we're going to see some low-level moisture, probably an uptick in showers and isolated thunderstorms late this afternoon and overnight tonight. And then it's going to dry out again by tomorrow. We could see another weak disturbance pass through around late Wednesday night.
Stay tuned if you want to party, because birthday shout-outs are coming up next.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day,
for every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
To keep my knowledge updated,
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
The only way you beat 6-month aged cheddar toasted on the shell of a chalupa is to put it in this box. The Toasted Cheddar Chalupa box is back for a limited time, only at Taco Bell.
Get your party hats on because it's time for the Cold Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts. Happy birthday on Monday, December 7th to Abigail Horig, who celebrates a birthday today. Also, Avia Jade, happy birthday to you from all of us at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery. Abigail and Avia, we hope you both had a fantastic day. And belated birthday wishes going out to Kyle Jerome Manley, whose birthday was on December 4th. We just want to wish our little boy Kyle a happy birthday number 1. And Nathan Baldwin, who was born on December the 5th. Happy birthday number 14, Nathan. You're a young man with a beautiful mind. We appreciate everything you do for the family. Thank you, and we all love you. Say Mom, Dad, Rodian, Nicolette, your baby sister Rain, Grandma Baldwin, Auntie Sandy and Jeannie, your cousins, Francois and Christian, Grandpa Cabrera, Uncle Fernando, Banji and Isaiah, Cap, and Gucci. That's a lot of love from a lot of people who are a lot proud of each and every one of you. Everybody deserves to have an awesome birthday, and we're happy to make yours a little bit brighter today. All right, as we say every night, 100% admittance rate. Everybody gets into the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. All you have to do is find a loved one, someone that you really, really enjoy and care for. Go to KUAM.com, click on the link that says birthdays, and then register them. All right, we got one more holiday present for you. The talented kids of the Harvest Christian Academy Orchestra recently played 30 of them at the same time. You're gonna love this. This is wild. Check it out. Thanks to Harvest for sending us this, and good night.
Buy with confidence. It's the Triple J Advantage. 1-year maintenance, 1-year tire and rim protection, key replacement, and $700 coupon book with every new vehicle purchase. Only at Triple J. Customers first.